Hello, everyone. Welcome to Power Hour. I'm Laura Rogers. This is Joelle Jobson. This is our 10th anniversary Power Hour. So today we're going to be just chatting and having fun and talking about the technology over the years and our jobs and things like that over the years. We don't have any technical demos, but it's just going to be kind of fun and discussions and talking about the evolution of technology in Microsoft 365. Here's the stinger. Okay, so hey everybody. Okay, so welcome. If this is your first time, that would be funny. So if it's your first time joining Power Hour, we chat in Teams, and wherever you're watching this video, there's a link to click to fill out a form to be invited to join. And that's where we have our fun little chat and discussions. And every week we just have this live online show. You never know what's going to happen. We demo different things and we all just have this lively discussion. Oh, thanks. Bruno says it's his first. Yay, welcome. So we're chatting in Teams, and I wasn't necessarily going to share my screen, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to be able to show real quick what it looks like in Teams to get there. So we have when you get invited, you're going to be in this Power Hour channel, and Power Hour team, and then you go to the general channel, and then we have a tab that we put up here for just like the last few episodes, and then so here's today's, and so you can click to watch the video, but the trick is over here, this little chat button at the top right. See where my cursor is, and that's where you can click and watch the video and chat with us at the same time. So I'll go ahead and switch back over to. There we go. So, Joelle, 10 years.
It's been a long time. Yeah, I was going to say, if this is, I know you were mentioning it, but like if it's their first episode, this is like not how our normal episodes go. So they're much more, much more technical. There's a demo, but today we're going to kind of be just like talking about technology. We definitely want your feedback and like Q&A stuff too. So feel free to put your own like experiences over the last 10 years in the chat. And then we'll be doing some giveaways and stuff at the end. So don't think this is a normal episode if this is your first one. This is not quite how our episodes normally are, but we're just having fun with this one today. But yeah.
So what is our structure going to be, Joelle? You're my structure person.
What's a structure? Okay, I think we should probably do a little reminiscing for fun. Get some LOLs, as they say, of the why we started Power Hour and what it was like when we first started. And then I think we'll probably move into a little bit of a technology conversation about the technology. And that's the thing I think will be really fun to hear in the chat. Even if you want to go ahead and do it now, just like start kind of telling us like your own, like where you got started with SharePoint or Power Apps or any of this technology. We'd love to hear that and kind of have conversations around that. And then at the end, we'll do some fun giveaways for some good stuff.
Cool. Should I play the video, the compilation I made first, so everybody can kind of get like level set on what it's looked like over the years? Okay. So I am not a splashy video editing guru. So I did a bunch of screenshots from Power Hours over the last 10 years. So we're gonna show you this video of it's just screenshots and generic music, but then we'll be able to you'll kind of know what we're talking about and know kind of and it'll probably trigger like, oh yeah, I forgot about that product, like Power Pivot, like stuff like that. And so as you're watching this video, shout out in the chat, like type when you see some old obscure product like, oh, InfoPath, and you just type it. So as you're watching the video, type as you can spot these old technologies flashing by.
I know how many times Joelle's hair changes.
Here we go. The old Power Apps.
It was very well edited video there.
Yes, yes. It's amazing. It's amazing work. It took me like 5 minutes. No, I spent way more time getting all the screenshots.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. I was trying to go back through all those videos. But yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Though.
So people were shouting out.
SharePoint Designer. There's a lot of SharePoint Designer. I saw a lot of it.
Yes, yes. SharePoint Designer, InfoPath, Query Editor. Yes, there was some Planner in there. There was Excel Services, Web Part. Yeah. There was SSRS, Power Pivot. Like, I don't know if they were in the screenshot, but they're like all these old. I used to love SSRS. You know, that was before.
Yeah, that's one of the things I want to talk about in the technology kind of section of today is just the BI stuff that used to be so much more like user friendly. like an end user could create like dashboards and KPIs pretty easily, you know.
Oh. Okay, so let's kind of tell everybody like our history of how we met and all the jobs we've had together. I was the Birmingham SharePoint user group. I was doing a presentation on something InfoPath. I don't know.
I think it was approvals. Which is funny. I think it was approvals. Like it was like your old approval like process or whatever that you had in InfoPath.
Yeah. So Joelle drove over from Atlanta to come to our user group meeting, and then at the end of the meeting, she came up and was asking me questions about InfoPath, and so I spent some time and we just kind of I got on my computer and like showed her a few things, and I was like super impressed with how kind of deep how deep you already knew InfoPath, and you were just like this high level of like pretty technical stuff you were doing with it. I was like, oh, okay, so this is like pro level stuff. So that was that was fun. So then so I worked at a company called SharePoint 911, and that was Shane and Nicola Young's company. And you got hired at SharePoint 911, or was that after we got sold to Rackspace? It
was like right at the transition. I think it was like right at that transition.
So our whole company got bought by Rackspace Hosting, and then I was immediately like, okay, I'm going to build up a team. Joelle, I want Joelle. So then we got to hire. I guess you were one of the first people on our team. So then we were the SharePoint Services team at Rackspace. And and so I was the manager of the team. And then as you could see in some of those screenshots, we started Power Hour because Todd had a podcast he would do.
Yeah.
And so his was just talking, and he would just sit there and talk about technologies and PowerShell and his admin stuff. And I'm not as comfortable just sitting there talking for an hour. That's not my comfort zone. So I'm more like comfort zone of doing demos. So I could get up in a presentation at a big Microsoft conference in front of 800 people. And as long as I'm doing a demo, like it's totally fine. So demos are my comfort zone. So I decided, do Power Hour with demos. And at first,
and I think it was like we kind of saw too that like at that time it was like you were seeing a transition from like blogs, like just writing blogs, which was like obviously very like that's was a huge thing for a long time. And then I think it was right around that time that people were transitioning to make like instead of writing a blog, they were making like YouTube videos. And I think that's one of the reasons we thought that it would be good to kind of like transition the blogging to like instead of like because Laura had a really popular blog already, and all of us were interested in that kind of community outreach, but didn't want to have like to start a blog that late. So I think it was like a good way for us, the other people on the team, to like kind of have like create like do demos and stuff like that and get that like exposure and stuff for our team.
And since we were kind of a new team, we wanted to get the word out about our team, like for people to know that there were SharePoint services at Rackspace. And of course, there aren't anymore. But
We'll talk about that.
Is Rackspace still a thing? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So we decided to do that, and then we got everybody on the team had different sort of specialties.
Yeah, that
and
was
different
cool.
Like Tavis was into BI, and Ryan was into the SharePoint Designer. Well, at the time you used SharePoint Designer and like master pages. I can't even remember what it's called. Yeah. It's been so long. Master pages and branding stuff. So anyway, just some examples. We all had our specialties. So then we'd all kind of take turns doing power hours, and
we'd bring in like other members of. So we had like a pretty standard. I think it was like Steven was like the admin stuff, and then Tavis was the BI, like you said, and Ryan was the design stuff, and then you and I did like the BI or business solutions / like SharePoint intranet, like that kind of stuff. And I think it was fun though because we would bring in other members of our team, because our team was like, I swear it was like a rock star team. Like I still think back about like that team of people, like
7 MVPs.
We had, like, yeah. But honestly, it was though. It was also really fun to like work. Like it was a great team to be on as well. And so we would bring in like some of our other folks that worked at Rackspace but weren't like on the calls regularly. And that was always like fun to get there. And so I think we have one where one of our project managers, who I love, Aubrey, she was like one of our project managers, and she was such a good project manager. And she came in and like talked about project management on like one episode. So like we had a lot of fun with bringing people in to chat about that stuff.
Yeah. I remember at some point somebody was like, we're going to run out of topics. Like we just can't talk about SharePoint every single week for an hour. Like surely we're going to run out of SharePoint stuff to demo. And I'm like, no, there's a lot we can. There's like an episode on Quick Parts, and an episode on Data View Web Parts, an episode like you could do an episode on every single type of web part. You could do an episode on every, and then once Office 365 came out, it was like, oh, then you had all that, like Planner and Teams came along eventually, and all this other stuff that we could do.
Yeah, it was fun transitioning that. Somebody said Todd doesn't mind talking for an hour. That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know if he still does that show. I'm not sure.
Todd and Shane were fun.
Oh yeah, and Lisa, she said in the comments, she was actually a customer of ours back when we were Rackspace.
Yeah, Lisa was a Rackspace customer.
She's followed us. So then that was Rackspace. That was like, how many years did we work there? Like 5 years?
It was like 4 or 5. Yeah, I think it was like 4-ish for me, and then I think you guys were there closer to 5. But yeah.
Yeah. So then in 2016 was when 2016 was when they laid off our whole.
We were given our papers.
It's going to be a bad meeting when you like show up for your status meeting and there's the HR person in the meeting. It's
people you've never seen before. It's not a good look. You're like,
we're like, wait a minute, what's happening?
A manager that we've never met. Yeah, that was not a good look.
Yeah. So they basically laid off our entire team of however many, I don't know, at least 10 of us, I guess.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah, there was more, 10 or
so. And then I'm just like, screw this, I'm going to start my own company. So that was in 2016 and like the middle of 2016. So then like, so there are a bunch of power hours in there where it's just me. And so the team was gone, Rackspace, we weren't doing that anymore. I got my own YouTube channel, and then it's just me alone for a couple of years, probably?
A year. I think it was a year. It was 1 year.
A year? Okay. Yeah. Year, and then hired Joelle. She got to come work for me. So everything we do is remote. We all work at our houses. And then a few months later, Chris, my husband, quit his job and came to work here too. So it's so we're one big happy team.
Yeah, and that was in 2017. I think the first episode, there was like an episode where like where I like rejoin. Like the funny thing is from the job I had in between Rackspace and IW Mentor, I did join a couple because I found a few videos where I had like joined from that office.
Oh,
Where there's like
really?
the background, yeah, and the back. I recognized like the behind me. I was like, oh, I did a couple power hours from that office, that company that I worked for a
That's
year. But yeah,
funny. I didn't remember that you did
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was only a few. I don't think I could join like because of work stuff. I couldn't join like a
Oh,
lot, but I think it was like 2 or 3 I joined over that year. But yeah, yeah, that was
that's
fun.
funny. Yeah. Okay. So,
You should
what?
show them like our really cool old intro that we used to have. That was actually written and performed by Tavis. It's in. I don't know
Okay.
if you can
Old
like
intro
share
by
that.
Tavis.
Yeah, that's like a fun. I love that.
Okay. So should I just share my screen and push play? I'll just do that.
Yeah, why not? It'll probably work. Hopefully the audio will come
Let's
through.
see.
But it's very rock and roll. Tavis was a musician. I think he probably still is, obviously. But he wrote this song. We thought it was really cool.
Let's see if I don't know if they'll be able to hear it. Let me see.
Okay. We can link to it too if that's easier. Here, I'll put a link, and I'll put a link in the chat in case you guys are gonna get a kick out of that.
Oh my gosh.
Did you forget about
totally
that?
forgot about that, Joelle.
It's so good.
Could they hear
so
it?
good.
I don't know if they.
Here, I'll put a link.
I don't think
Let
I
me
was.
grab
Was
a
I?
link
Wasn't
to.
showing it.
It wasn't showing. I don't
Let me
think.
do it again.
You guys have to see it. It's great.
Okay. And can you share the link with them too?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but yeah. So
yeah, it was awesome. It was a highlight.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was pretty epic. That's probably. I remember us being like. I remember like the excitement that we had over that intro when we made it. And we were like, "This is the." It was like we were so official because we had that intro. That's so funny.
Yeah, he's totally a rock star. He actually has his own rock band and everything, and he's like they put out albums and yeah. So he just wrote that for just real quick, just whipped it up one day, and you could see me in the bottom in the chat, and I'm just like down there like
yeah. Oh my god.
What else was funny? Oh well, let's see. I think do we show them and what episode 1 looked like? Just
really? Oh yeah, yeah. You guys should see that. We look like little babies.
Yeah. Here we go. So that's what it looked like. So we had, now the technology that's changed over the years has been interesting. The technology that we've used, because we used to just have, see, it says Google Plus up there. I don't even know if Google Plus is still a thing.
Yeah,
oh yeah, Google Hangouts.
That's what we started using, Google Hangouts.
Yeah, so Google Hangouts was the only way that we could figure out how to actually have us all on there at the same time. Now you couldn't be showing your face and doing a demo at the same time. It was either your camera or your screen. So whenever, as you can see, like as people are doing demos and stuff, I don't think we did any demos the first time. Maybe, yeah. As people are doing demos, you don't see any faces because it's one or the other. So then eventually, the problem was that Google Plus went away. Yeah, Google and then we had to kind of, I don't remember what. Then you had to stream directly to YouTube, but then you couldn't have like the group thing and have everybody in there. So then, so anyway, it was a very awkward like couple of years where we had to figure out. I could only figure out how to get it to just show me on there, and then I was using. God, I don't remember. I think I was just streaming straight to YouTube, but then I discovered vMix. I don't remember. I think I had some software in between there. vMix is a software vMix is a software we use right now, and it's perfect because then it gives the person the ability to call in. So I think that they were, even after you joined me joined, IW Mentor, my new company, 7 years ago, that I couldn't have you in the Power Hour because there was no technology to be able to have us both on the screen, or I didn't know how to do it, maybe. But there was a while where it was just me before we could, anyway. So you'll see like a couple of years of Power Hours of just me by myself in the screenshots. What else do you have that we were going to talk about? What was? SharePoint horror stories.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, and also before we talk about that, what we used to call the show was an hour of BS.
Because it was business solutions.
Yeah, so there's an episode I think where we're talking about how it's welcome to the hour of BS. This is
So it was still called Power Hour, but we just like nicknamed it that.
Well, I think we were like calling it like Power Hour Business Solutions or something like because our team was called Business Solutions or something like that, and so we would call it like an hour of BS. That always makes me laugh. Yeah, but yeah, SharePoint Horror Stories was fun. That was like where we told our scary scary
so stories. Let me see. So can you share the link with them, because the video just doesn't do it justice. Oh, and Google Plus had all those silly little hats and stuff like that. Yeah,
we used to do we did Pirate Day, I remember.
Steven had some hilarious, I'll show you on the Steven had some hilarious horror stories, like admin horror stories. And I feel like when you go back and watch that, like his stories are the best. Just off the top of my head, that just because, and he's been around IT probably longer than everybody on the team, and so he's seen it all. It's from an admin perspective. It's so funny. SharePoint horror stories, yeah. Y'all are so. Oh my gosh, they're like chanting the song. Oh, you can hear it. Okay. Cool.
And the link that with the link with Tavis's song that we were talking about, that's the SharePoint Horror Stories link. So if you're interested in that.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
It's the same link.
Glenna Chamberlain is talking about, she knows some people had created their whole structure under Central Admin. Oh, yeah. So they had just gone into Central Admin and created subsites there. It's like, you don't even bother reading the instructions. Like, like, not at all. Just like, I'm just going to click around and just, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty fun. We could, it's like you had better, more horrible horror stories back when it was on premises.
Server, yeah, for sure.
And because there were so many more things you could mess up.
Yeah. Like it's not as frequent now, I would say. Yeah. I mean, I think the mistakes now are just more common that like everybody makes who just doesn't have the experience or whatever, and there's nothing wrong. But yeah, I think like back then, like I remember, I think the one that I talked about was like this one where it was like a very large company was running everything in their SharePoint on a free, like somebody's computer, like foundation server, like SharePoint Foundation. And it was like, I'm talking about like gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs of content and like literally running an entire business. And I was just like on
best
somebody's
practice.
Computer. Yeah, and it was on somebody's computer also, like not a server, like literally somebody's computer.
Good Lord.
That was pretty
funny.
Oh,
so Kirk says, what was your favorite demo to do for a product that no longer exists?
Oh.
I used to love the data view web part. The data view web part was my favorite. And so this was pre-SharePoint 2013. So this was before Power Hour even started. I had like a series of data view web part videos that I had done. And those are actually, there's a channel or like a playlist in my YouTube channel called Data View Web Parts, I'm pretty sure. And it's got all the old Data View Web Part videos. It's so weird. I still get people asking questions in there. Like, that means they're using SharePoint 2010 still, like now. Like,
when I was going through some of the videos last night, and there was like videos where there was comments from like months ago. And I was like, and it was like stuff like that. Like it was like the really old stuff. I was just like, oh,
like wow, in the Rackspace channel?
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's still even there. Like nobody's managing that or anything.
Oh yeah, nobody's paying any attention to that. Yeah.
They probably don't even know it's there.
I'm glad we'll have this video just in case that ever disappears because we have no like control over it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because you
so
can't download them if you don't own, like if it's not your channel, you can't download them. So yeah. Okay, so what else? What other kind of fun? So people in the, oh, Lisa says she
oh,
misses
the
query
demo.
reports. Oh,
Oh yeah, I was gonna say my answer to that question, and it's actually something that like we kind of talked about earlier, but like the Excel services stuff, like I used to love like coming up with solutions that use that, and there's a couple of episodes about like the different things that we would do with Excel services, and I found that like tool extremely useful because it was easy to like power there, like the whole BI, all the BI tools like the SSRS stuff, which was like for like most power users wasn't something that they had access to, or maybe they didn't want to, like, wasn't there like extra cost I think too with SSRS, but like that wasn't usually as accessible, and so like Excel services was a really neat way to like create dashboards and KPIs and stuff like that, and have those, like
yeah,
surfaced
yeah,
inside of SharePoint and stuff.
that
So
was fun. Oh, where's the
yeah.
link to the form, the Microsoft form you created so we can have people start filling it out?
Oh yeah, let me go ahead and so yeah, we're gonna be doing a giveaway, and we'll go ahead and we'll pull this up in a little while. But let me get the link
Yeah,
for you
so
guys.
while we're talking, I want to be able to give free stuff to you. So
Yeah, and we want to do it on the call.
yeah, y'all, because y'all are awesome. So Joelle's going to share a link. I don't know if can you share it in the YouTube chat and in the Teams chat?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Usually we don't man the YouTube chat, but I know there's a lot of like of our old friends in
yeah,
there, so we'll go ahead
yeah.
and put that link there as well.
Yeah, and just make sure it's an anonymous form. So we're going to gather all of your names who are on the call right now and then do a drawing. We're going to give somebody a free Yeti mug. It's an IW Mentor Yeti mug's pretty fancy, and a free t-shirt. And so there's a link Joelle just put in the chat there for, it says forums.office.com. That's it. And so you fill that out, and we're just going to go randomize just the list of responses towards the end of Power Hour. And then I'm not sure if this one's going to last a whole hour, but at the end, and then we've got I'll give away 3 different free months of our ultimate plan. So our ultimate plan at IW Mentor is all of our training. And then the grand prize is going to be someone's going to get a free year. So if you're already a student, I'm not sure how that would work. Yeah, I guess maybe we could tack it on, but I'd like it to be newer people and just kind of give them a chance, but to try it out, to be able to try out the training. Let's see. Oh, traffic lights with Excel services. So we're still talking about that old technology.
KPIs.
Those KPIs KPI dashboards were so cool, but people wanted to do way more with them than they had the capability to do.
It's true.
Yeah.
They were good for simple things. Yeah.
Yeah. Just BI in general. Just anytime you get on a call with somebody wanting like dashboards, the conversation doesn't last very long, because then as soon as you're like, okay, well, where's the actual data that we're going to be building the dashboard based on? They're like, what data? Yeah, you have to have data. Anyway.
I thought the lights would just magically, well, soon with AI, they might just, the little KPIs might just magically,
Oh, yeah, they had
there is some stuff like that.
In the Copilot demos, did you see that, like the Excel one that they showed at the last conference, they would just type in Excel like build me a blah 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 blah, and it would just crank it all out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our brains are going to turn to mush because AI is just going to do everything for us. Okay, what do we have next?
Let's see what other. Yeah, so somebody said, or sorry, your name was. Oh, Josh said, my favorite thing about Excel services was the ability to use the web service to extract charts and objects out of the docs. Yeah, that was like one of the things we demoed a lot, was just like creating like, I thought it was really cool too, because back then you would create like a pivot table, and then like when you would put it in SharePoint, you could actually like use it. Like, I know that sounds like not a big deal now, but at the time that was like huge, that you could like actually like click from SharePoint into the pivot table and then control what they see.
Yeah. So what do you all think about? So we used to have that whole publishing sites thing in SharePoint and all the publishing. There was a whole episode we had about publishing features. Does anybody miss that? Because I mean, they're basically replaced the concept with communication sites. But are there any features that publishing sites had, I guess maybe Joelle or anybody in the chat, that are gone and you kind of miss them? Because there was scheduling in there, but they added the scheduling back. There are a lot of things that they gradually add. They removed, but they gradually added back.
Yeah, I think that this is a different conversation for sure than like 5 years ago when like Microsoft 365 was like so sparse, you know? And we've gotten like a lot of stuff. So I would say like the only thing I would say is wikis. Like I feel like a lot of the maybe not a wiki page in like the traditional sense, but some of the technology, the wiki technology, I think people still like, especially for like knowledge based situations and stuff. So I think that might be something that's, you know, missed or whatever. But yeah. But I'd be interested to know. We were talking too about the first episode of Power Hour is about the community sites, which is funny, which is not a communication site. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But community sites and social, which I know we laughed about how, yeah, that was always stuff that struggled to take hold.
You know, and when that came out, I would always think like, maybe I'm missing something, because surely I'm missing something, because why would they create this whole like feature set and whole template and everything that doesn't really do much? Like what am I missing? But so it would have this whole like chat and like tag things and comment on things sort of, but it didn't have any notifications in there. So yeah. Like you'd have this sort of thread of some sort of chat or conversation, but there was really no business use for it. Did anybody use that, the old community site stuff and the old sort of like chat that was sort of in SharePoint? It's like, because you can't have a chat and you can't have a thing where you can mention people and have a conversation and not have notifications that the conversation is happening. So that's the good thing about in Teams, when Teams is much better. Like it's a much better evolution of that concept, because then you're chatting with people in there. At the time, all you had was Skype. You're chatting with people in Teams, and you can mention people in Teams, and you can mention people in lists, and you can. So, but it actually like lets people know that there's the conversation that they're mentioned in, which is like kind of bringing it full circle and making that whole concept much more useful.
Yeah, I think the first iteration that actually worked, which was not community sites, but it was Yammer. Like, and not across the board for sure, but
which is called what now?
Yeah, didn't they change? What's it called now?
Viva.
Oh, is it part of Viva now? Viva, one of the Viva things. Yeah, see, I can't even keep up. But I know that like there was organizations that, not all for sure, but like there was quite a few organizations I was like working with that had adopted Yammer really well and were using it really well and had like done a really good job at that. But that was the first time that I saw any kind of successful social was with Yammer.
Yeah. Yammer was one of those things that it was so separate for so long. And it's like it took them so long to integrate it inside of everything else. So now, you have that's kind of merged in with Teams, and now it's part of Viva and everything. Yeah. So now it's like, it seems like it's finally like fully incorporated, and it's not like a separate product that looks so different.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't think anybody uses
Viva
it.
Engage. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, that was it. Viva Engage. But the funny thing is like I don't think people use it unless they used it before, right? Like I don't think it's like
before it got bought by Microsoft.
No, just like if they used Yammer before Teams.
Oh, Teams.
Before Teams came along, yeah. So if they adopted Yammer and they used Yammer, then yeah, they might still be using Yammer. But I don't ever see, like I've not seen a company adopt Yammer after Teams became a thing. You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen that, and I'd be interested to know if anybody has seen that, because I have not seen companies adopt Yammer now. Like, yeah.
Oh, Carolyn said it's still separate. Yammer. Well, I guess it's more integrated than it's ever been, but yeah, it's still kind of awkward, isn't it? Yeah, and So we always vote. If you're new and you're not aware, we vote usually the day before Power Hour on what our topic's going to be for the next day, and I send out a newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter. But I would put Yammer in there and community and different stuff around Yammer in the voting thing, like several times, and it's like literally hardly anyone voted for that. So it's interesting how you all have sort of guided the topics to your interest, to like this specific audience. So let's see, I'm going to take a second to kind of define who you all are, just so you'll know. So when you all take that survey, when you first are filling out the survey to join Power Hour, and it asks you, one of the questions it asks you is, what is your role at work? And most of you, I think it's like 75 or 80%, choose the SharePoint person at work. And that's the answer, because there's so many companies that you just have one person in that role and you're managing SharePoint. So it seems like a lot of you are work at small and medium-sized businesses. And a lot of you are like power user / business user, not necessarily IT people. But you don't, that's the thing about all these technologies that we demo, is that you don't have to be an IT person. We talk about them from just the business perspective and just show you how to do things. I'm not a programmer. Joelle's not a programmer. We have done like sort of codey things in here, but we don't know code. Like we just like kind of figure it out when we have to. And, several different little products might have like places where you have to tweak code, but we're not programmers. So it's geared towards you, the only SharePoint person at work, the power user, usually small and medium-sized businesses. So that's kind of my definition. What do you think, Joelle? Did I incorporate kind of who our people are here? What do you all think in the chat? Is there any other kind of parts of that persona, Joelle? Can you hear me?
I think you covered it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that the demographic of the power users. So, and yet it also is reflected when you all vote for things. So if I say, do you want to vote for this, basically like a premium product, or this like Yammer, or this just like SharePoint power user topic of how to do something fancy with views, it's usually going to be the SharePoint power user topic of just how to do something interesting in SharePoint, and not necessarily the splashy or the new products. It's going to be more like useful things that I can use in my business right now, instead of just the new. So obviously we do show, thanks Robin. She said we nailed it. So obviously we do go over the new technologies, but when we go over them, I try and think about it in a way that's going to be like a specific, like a way to use it in your day-to-day work, not necessarily just like use this because it's new and it's pretty. So I try to think of ways to explain it in a business purpose. Like, thanks, Randy. So they said I described their role. That's pretty cool. So what was I talking about? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about, Joelle? I started reading all the comments. That's so funny. They said I nailed it. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I was just talking about power user solutions and what people vote for. Oh, so the example I was going to give was Microsoft Loop. So Microsoft Loop was brand new. We did it was still in preview. We did a power hour about Microsoft Loop. Now, I don't have anything against Loop, but what I want to do is, before I have another power hour about Loop, I don't just want to show like, oh, look at this, it's pretty, it's cool. I want to be able to show a business purpose to use Loop and a specific example. So that's what I think people like about what we do, Joelle, is having specific examples of how they can apply this. Like last week when we were talking about Copilot, and we were talking about there's a Copilot, basically an object that you can put in a power app that's basically like a chat bot, but you just point it to a data source, and you just ask it questions about the data source. So then I was saying, well, if you had a list of classes people were registering for, then you could point that to the data source with all the classes and information about them and what times they are and stuff. And then people would just be able to like chat with a chatbot asking about the classes. So that's what I try to do, is think of business examples. So with Loop, I haven't like gotten my head wrapped around it yet to think about how I would use it necessarily like in my day-to-day just actual work that I'm doing. So that's what I need to make sure and do that before I try to do that before I present things to you all, like why, what's it for? Oh, thank you so much, Randy.
And I think that's what's like been hugely important, and that's why the training works as well, because we aren't just regurgitating information that we get off of like from Microsoft. Like obviously Microsoft is the biggest part of our business, and we love the technology and have a lot of fun with it. But we also know from our experience that, like we were just talking about with the community sites, right, that like not every technology they push out is going to be needed or successful, or it might end up even being a waste of time. I hate to say it. So I think that's why we pride ourselves on really looking into it, waiting, playing with it, seeing if it's something that customers actually need before we, dig deep into it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I also would say, like you were talking about, like the content that we've kind of like focused on, I would say like Power Apps has had like a pretty big hold, and I think that shows a lot. And it's funny to see the evolution of like, even I've seen the evolution of Power Apps, where it started as like used for very simple things like travel requests and like really simple, and now we're seeing Power Apps being used to like run entire businesses. And that's like kind of, you know what I mean, like it's grown like so much from like teeny tiny little like business solutions to like huge apps that like do incredible amount of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of been fun, and that's one that you can definitely feel is gonna probably stick around for a while. So
yeah, definitely. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people are agreeing in the chat about what they think about like the audience that I defined. They're like, yeah, that's me. That's awesome. And then John Pierre says, do you have a lot of SharePoint 2019 on-prem customers, or are you mostly online? We're all online. I don't think we have any
I would say most of
customers currently.
Yeah, most of our customers are online or going.
Yeah. I can think of one that was like an old customer a while back that the cloud had already come out and their CEO was adamantly opposed to putting data in the cloud. The C-level, they might be the older generation, and they don't want they want it like the server huggers. They want to be able to have their data right there in their data center. But so the CEO would not let them go to the cloud. So they're still on-prem, but there's only really like one that I can think of. And then, some companies they go to the cloud and they don't tell the CEO that they're in the cloud. He doesn't know the difference. He doesn't need to know all those technical details.
The less they know, the better in those situations.
Yeah,
but I would say vast majority, because our customers are small, medium. Our customers that we consult with, I should say, our training customers are everything, every type of level of organization. But our consulting customers are small, medium, and I would say like 99.9% are online for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. And we help with migrations because people are flying to the cloud. Like they're all going to Microsoft 365.
It started with like during COVID times. It was already happening, but it really took off during COVID times and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah. Should we start doing the giveaways, Joelle?
Yeah. So let's do like a 2-minute call I'll give you guys 2 more minutes to get that. I'll put the link in the chat one more time, just in case people are joining late. So we'll do 2 minutes so you guys can get your last minute entries in there, and then we'll start drawing.
Wow, look at all the chats, the chat in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I've been looking at that too.
Oh, y'all are awesome. I'm trying to read it real quick. Thanks, AC, for the compliments about the commitment to running a live show every week. Like that's how I make myself still create new content, because I'm pretty lazy. So if I try and make myself write a blog post every week or something like that, I'm just never going to get around to it. But if I say we're having a show and I have to be there and I have to be live and it is happening no matter what, like that's how I make myself like keep, doing the sort of community things, and it kind of incorporated into blog posts and things like that. So that's kind of how I force myself to use my laziness. Let's see. Jason said, any advice for a lone Power Platform solution user for a mid to large org? The org admin wants to adopt a different platform. Well, no, the key to when you're on Microsoft 365 and some executive wants to adopt a different platform, the integration between all the Microsoft 365 products and the connectors and everything is going to be the key. Anytime there's any other like third party product that somebody in your somebody in your company is trying to introduce, so that's going to be a good selling point for you to get them to stick with all the Microsoft 365 technologies, is that you already have it, it's part of the suite, all the products integrate together. So that's going to be the key. And so you have to go figure out what those integrations are and be able to like demonstrate them and give examples for how it's going to make everybody's lives easier. Oh, these are such sweet comments. I love it. So fun. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to fill out the form, and I'm going to go pull that up on my screen. Is that in the Power? Oh, wait, can I pull it up on my screen if you created it?
I can pull it up. I have it up. So I can do it. You just tell me what you want to, I guess we'll go through.
I was just going to go ahead and export it to Excel.
I already did that. I have a random number generator too, so I'm ready. Cool.
All right, so the first drawing is going to be, and I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on both chats. The YouTube, usually the YouTube chat isn't as lively. Usually we mostly have most everyone in the Teams chat. So I'm looking at both today, and so we're going to call out the winners, and then we're going to keep track of who you are. And the way it's going to work is, we'll need your email address, obviously, to be able to give you your prize. But if you win the Yeti mug or the t-shirt, if you're in the United States, we'll be able to ship it to you. I'm not sure if you're in some other country like that's very far away, like Australia or something. I'm not sure how the shipping is going to work. So hopefully we'll just be shipping these to the United States, or we'll give you training instead of shipping these anyway. Okay, and then the training winners, we're going to have you just create a free account in iwmentor.com on our training website. And then when you go in and create your free account, we'll see your email address and we'll just enroll you in the thing that you won. So that's the way that is going to work. Cool. Now the chats are still rolling in about kind of your people's history of watching Power Hour, and it's so fun. Y'all are awesome. Okay, so the first one is going to be the t-shirt, the IW Mentor t-shirt. What?
I said okay.
Okay, so who's the t-shirt winner? She's doing
the t-shirt is David Hawk. David Hawk, Hock.
Okay.
And we have your email address, so we'll reach out to you for your address and all that stuff.
David, come on down.
David, congratulations.
Can you virtually come on down? Is David in the yeah, there he is. Okay, David wins a t-shirt. Okay, and then we've got the Yeti mug. So we're going to drumroll. Okay, who's winning the Yeti mug?
Hold on. I'm just making notes here so I don't forget who's who. Okay. I'm highlighting and making notes. Okay, let's do a generate. Generate. All right. This is who? Yeti mug?
Yeah.
Yeti mug is going to Kevin Ficken. Kevin Ficken. I have the spreadsheet with the email addresses and all that stuff.
Kevin. I was making a little a little graphic. Okay, congrats. All right. This is so fun. And then we've got, now we're going to have 3 names that are all going to win a month of our ultimate plan on our training site, iwmentor.com. And the ultimate plan includes all of our training. So it's like over 35 hours of SharePoint, Teams, Power Apps, Power Automate, all the way from basic to advanced, just everything, just all self-paced. So 3 names for that one.
3 names. Okay. So the first one is, let's see. It's either Mayra or Myra Tijerina, maybe? Myra Tijerina? I'm sorry, I'm probably not saying that right. That's the first one.
Okay.
Mayra or Myra.
Okay.
And that was 1 month.
How do you spell it? I'll put it in the chat.
It's Mayra, and then the last name is. Do you want the last name?
I'll just put Mayra.
Mayra. T is the last name. Starts with a lot of T. Thank you, Mayra. Let me generate another one. Our next one is Kirk Olson.
Okay.
And then one more for that one.
Yeah.
30. Let's see. John from Kaiser. I know John. Oh. John's one of my customers.
What's his last initial?
S.
John S. Cool. Somebody we know. Right. And those are 1 month winners.
And I have this spreadsheet too, Laura.
Okay.
Like all the
and I just misspelled winners. Okay. And now we have the
grand finale.
We used to actually have in the Google Plus, the Google Chat thing we used to do. There was a drum roll. Remember the sound effects that we had?
Oh yeah.
There was a drum roll
clapping and there was a drum roll.
So who's gonna win the year of Ultimate?
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna generate. It is Courtney Kennedy.
Come on down.
Courtney Kennedy. Woo! That's fun. Can we keep giving stuff away? Woo!
I'm doing another little graphic. That's so dumb. I love those little stickers in Teams that you can just type whatever you want to in it. Oh, there's Courtney. She said, woohoo. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna, so all the 4 people that won training, all you have to do is go to iwmentor.com. If you haven't already created a student account in there, you just create an account for free so that you have a login, and then we're just gonna go enroll you in the thing that you won. So it makes it super easy that way. Awesome. That was so much fun. I feel like we can wrap it up, and I just want to thank everybody again. Y'all are such a fun group, like audience, because I don't know. I just feel like I can connect with like this specific set of this type of people that we have that are our people that join Power Hour, and just the roles that you're in. I can understand, I can empathize with like what you're going through with like being a SharePoint admin, like being the only SharePoint person, or trying to figure out business solutions when you're not a developer. So it's so much fun, like bonding with you all and chatting with you all every week. And thanks, Joelle, for sticking with me all these years in all our different roles and all our trials and tribulations and ups and downs. And
yeah, so, Laura, I just want to say, I'm going to take a second to thank you, Laura, on behalf of everyone on this call, because I know that I'm like the silly, goofy co-host and who does like some presentations, but you're the real brains behind the operation, and you have shared your knowledge so willingly and openly, and you have helped me in my career. I'm getting emotional. But you've helped me in my career so much. Like I was like this lone little like kid basically trying to learn SharePoint, and I had you to like follow and learn stuff, and I just really appreciate all of that. And I'm sure the whole audience that's watching is just so grateful for everything you've done. And I also thank you guys for taking the time. I know today's not a super technical one, and it's not, you're probably not getting a ton out of that, But I do appreciate you guys being a part of this celebration, and this 10 years has been a lot of fun, and we're just so glad that we have this audience, and yeah, it's just been awesome. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Joelle. I almost got choked up. That'll be a first, like tears on Power Hour.
I know, right? Only from laughter.
I laughed, I cried, it was better than cats.
Yeah. So true.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks again. We're going to be over and out, so we will see you next time. You can check iwmentor.com and click schedule to see when the next Power Hour is going to be. And on that screen somewhere, you can sign up for the newsletter to get notified the day before and to be able to vote. So see everybody next time.
See you in 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years ago. From the nursing home.
Oh, I think about that.